This is Unrelegated, recording live from our studio at Hudson FC on this transfer deadline Tuesday.
Deadline Tuesday.
Kelly, this is OG because this is the first time in a long, long time where we haven't had a guest.
Yeah, I know. It's just me and you.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's like we have to look each other in the face now.
Oh, I mean, I'm not sitting right beside you looking over your shoulder the entire time?
Yeah, we don't have guests to cover for our weaknesses now.
We have to we've got to lock eyes and just admit to each other that we
Although
have
we
no
had a
idea
review
what
that criticized me with a guest, so we'll get into that later.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we got a review.
Yay, it's a criticism. So exciting.
Absolutely. We, as we said, we'll read those off, as long as it's not something vile, like it's constructive.
Let's not be abrasive, people, but give us reviews.
So before we get started, congrats to all of our friends and listeners who are Liverpool fans.
Yes.
Wow, what a match.
Right?
That includes Tim over Home Before Dark, big Liverpool fan, Mr. Chris Irontooth. Also, congratulations to all of you.
He's already told me that I've got to go watch the final with him.
Oh, wow, that'd be tremendous.
Yeah. So I'm going to go.
He's hooked up, so.
Yeah. So I got to figure out how that happens, but, sit with a bunch of Liverpool fans.
You might have to take out a loan or something. I mean, make it happen. Do what you got to do.
I don't know if he necessarily means going to see it live at Liverpool. I mean, if that would be the case, it'd be freaking awesome. But
he goes over there quite regularly.
Does he?
Yeah, especially in the summer because that's when he's
We should do a GoFundMe.
Available the most.
I'd do a GoFundMe to get me to Liverpool.
Why not?
Why not?
Just do it.
Support a good cause.
I know I'm not a Liverpool fan, but pay for me to go over there.
For me to go there to see this final.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Let's not do that.
It's the internet. Why not? So, you'll get no money. It'll be embarrassing for you when there's no money raised.
Nobody would contribute. I'd understand it, though. I wouldn't be mad about it. I mean, I would completely understand why nobody would pay money for me to go to Liverpool.
And then everybody would laugh at you.
Yeah. No.
Did you watch Game
They're
of
not already?
I don't know. I don't follow. I don't have a meter. I don't poll people on
Kelly's people
online.
laughing at meter. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you watch? This was a big deal for some reason before the game, right? Before the SKC match, right? Sporting KC Atlanta United match. It was a big deal. People were there was 5 polls. Home Before Dark one had. I think Miles of South. I think Atlanta United Fan TV had a poll. Are you watching Game of Thrones first or Atlanta United? And this day and age, you have DVRs.
Yeah.
You could turn off your phone, and you can watch either in whatever order.
Yeah.
And it's just like watching it from the beginning anyways, as long as you're not looking at social media.
Exactly.
And then people were responding to the polls even going, what about both? I'm like, why would you watch both at the same time?
You can't focus.
Think people were sending screenshots of doing both, and it's why would you ruin both experiences? What's better? Let's ruin everything.
You can't have both. We're just going to ruin both.
Let me somewhat pay attention to both things versus paying attention to who can you just DVR it, watch it later.
Yeah.
So you watched Game of Thrones first, I think.
So
because you had a Game of Thrones watch party.
I had a Game of Thrones watch party. It was me and Annabelle, or as some call the Empanada Poppy, or now
Latin
he's
ATL Pizza.
ATL Pizza Latin Heat. So he was over and we were watching. We had a Game of Thrones watch party, which obviously because it was Cinco de Mayo, I started getting into a little bit of tequila. And I make my margaritas strong. Might I say, I make amazing margaritas.
I love how you tell me you don't drink tequila, but then you say, but for margaritas.
Oh, but for margaritas, I definitely do tequila. And it's a two-shotter. So by the end of Game of Thrones, I was already 3 margaritas deep. So it was about six shots of tequila in. And then stupidly, I bet against Annabelle with drinking, which is a terrible idea. And
you bet that Joseph would not score any goals.
I did.
You must have been already drunk to make that bet.
I was very drunk. So I bet not only that Pity Martinez
would Annabelle didn't convince you that you made that bet and you didn't even make the bet?
No, I mean, probably. He's got videos of and I hope they never reach the light of day, but I know that he has videos of me taking the shots after losing.
How about phones down, no recording during margarita time?
That's what I said, but I mean, I lost, so he had to get it on video, I guess. But I said that Pity would score first, and I lost that bet. And then I said Joseph wouldn't score, so I lost that. So I had to take 2 shots of tequila, and that was my undoing. So we ended we ended the game. We ended the rewatch of the game at 60 minutes in because I was doing yoga on my bathroom floor trying to not die.
Yeah.
And then all of Monday was me dying and then just trying to recuperate.
You know, you're not 20 anymore, Kelly.
What? Nobody told
Your
me
body
this.
changes. Like, that's a lot of tequila for a Sunday night.
Tequila.
But you know what? Props to you guys for just going all out.
But I will say this, though. My choice to watch Game of Thrones first does not make me a plastic fan. It just makes me... I mean, like, I literally turned my... People call me plastic because I decided...
You're not at the game. Like, it's not like you're missed, like, going to the match.
Right.
to watch it.
Right, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
And how many people are not, like... How many people DVR that stuff anyway? I mean, that happens all the time. It's not a big deal.
All the time.
Who the heck cares? It's not like you just said... It's not like you watched Game of Thrones and then said, screw it, I'm deleting the Atlanta United match and I'm not going to watch it at all.
I will say, though, I recorded the Spanish version of the Atlanta United match.
Did Annabelle translate for you?
No, he just sat there and laughed at me the entire time, and I was like, what did he just say? He just laughed at me.
Oh, man. We need to do a watch party with the Siempre guys and
yeah, it would be a lot of fun.
And the Parceros, and it just could be completely Spanish language.
Oh, yes.
And
then have them translate.
I feel like if I immerse myself, I'll learn better.
Yeah, that's what I keep trying to tell myself.
I'm going to tell them, don't even speak any English to me the whole time.
Exactly. So did you watch the game first, or did you watch Game of Thrones?
I watched the game first and DVR'd Game of Thrones because the last few weeks I've been doing so many different things, moving and other stuff, that I've been missing Game of Thrones during its normal time anyway. So I'm already used to watching it on the DVR.
So you just sort of stayed off Twitter?
I did. I stayed on. The only time I went to pop on Twitter was when the game was over, and I popped on real quick just to make a mention about Barco being great or something, and then I popped back off. So
okay, good.
That was it. So I didn't have any spoilers or anything like that pop in my way.
Normally, I am like live on Twitter like right after Game of Thrones, but because of my circumstances,
well, that's good because you probably would have dropped the phone at the toilet anyways.
I probably would. I legitimately probably would have. I couldn't even find my phone the next morning, and then like I just remember being like, "Where's my phone?
Yeah.
Where's water? Where's my dog?"
Well, lesson learned or not. For those of us who are new watching us on Atlanta United Fan TV, if you don't know who we are Unrelegated. Kelly Francis, waving to you right now. I'm Jay Riddle and Jessica Charman. You will get a lot of heat if you call her Charmin. It's Jessica Charman.
Jessica Charman.
Very British.
Like char.
We're fairly self-deprecating podcast. We're not very cerebral. We're not very into tactics.
I think
and all
it's a very good self-deprecating. Very good use of word for that.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't think we take ourselves too seriously.
No.
And we also produce a lot of player highlight videos, and we do a lot with Atlanta United TV with vlogs, and I do a lot of stuff with them behind the camera. I just did my first Atlanta United transfer daily.
Yes, you did.
Today,
I saw that. It was great.
For the Justin Meram transfer, which we'll get into later. So that was a lot of fun. So we just do a lot of different stuff, and we hope you guys enjoy the podcast. You could also catch it on all your podcatchers out there as well if you want to listen to it versus watching it on the Atlanta United Fan TV YouTube channel.
But we have a bunch of cool ass stuff coming up.
We do. We have a bunch of stuff coming up.
Oh my god, it's gonna be so exciting.
But the biggest thing is we mentioned I think in the last podcast we're going to the Red Bulls game.
We're going to New Jersey.
And when we say going, we mean Tanner, Devin, you, myself. Jessica was going to go, but she's married life and she got a puppy, and so things took precedence, moving and all that stuff. So, but we'll still have the four of us up there. We will also be heading to the Cooligans studio on Friday the 17th. So if you're interested in being an audience member in the studio for that recording, please do DM us at UnrelATL or at DM one of us. We'll give you the information at the end of our podcast where you can find us. And let us know if you want to be an audience member. They can support up to 45 audience members in this studio.
Yes.
So it's pretty cool. And you can come watch the show, and then we'll hang out afterwards.
Yeah, isn't that exciting?
We'll grab a bite to eat. Save room. Yeah, save some room. It'll be, I can tell you, be like a late-ish lunch, but
probably end up being a pizza place,
maybe,
as it should be a pizza place.
And we'll definitely hit up Christian and Alexis of the Cooligans to find out where in that area we can kind of hop over to as well. So to get all the deets, send us a DM, and we'll get you that information.
That's so exciting. We're so excited about it.
I know. So, but Games of Thrones aside, we did watch the match.
We did.
And it was 3-0 final score.
It was. And it was really fun because before I started getting into the whole watching of Game of Thrones, before I watched the match, I did message.
Arya scored 3 goals.
Arya, yes, and Sansa told the biggest secret ever. Sorry, that was spoilers if anybody wants to. Sorry.
Not really.
Not really. I mean, I didn't say what it was.
Yeah.
But I did message Jason Longshore, and I was like, like, I need you to secure 3 points as a souvenir for your travels. Thank you very much. And before I even like really looked at my phone, I saw it the next morning, which I'm glad I didn't actually look at my phone. He said 3 points secured, and then like gave me a thumbs up, and I was like, yes.
So I didn't, because of the Game of Thrones spoilers and was concerned about it, I didn't live tweet this time, and so but Lane had won, so maybe I should just stay off Twitter. There are a lot of people that would agree with that sentiment. They don't want to see me on there at all. So maybe I should help everybody out and just be.
We're just going to see if that's what's exactly what it was. Atlanta United won because Jay was not on Twitter.
Yeah, but maybe it only works for away matches because obviously I'm at the match.
So
when
you can't
when they're playing at
necessarily
home.
not be on Twitter.
Yeah,
then.
so maybe the next away match.
Yeah, we'll see. But we'll be
give it a shot.
at the game the next away match.
I know.
That doesn't really work.
That's true. Oh man, I've messed it all up. I mean, just when we started get it right.
Just when we got a rhythm and a formula.
I'll just have to stay I'll have to stay in the Airbnb and not go, and then not go on Twitter.
Stay in the Airbnb in Manhattan.
So
Barco
sure. Involved in all the goals. The first one, he's the one that took the shot that was deflected. The goalkeeper Joseph was able to get it, sacrificing all of his body per usual to get in there and get that goal. And then Barco's banger, man. Whoo!
He just, he's hitting a good stride going into the U20s World Cup.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be very interesting to see what he's able to produce and how he thrives there.
There'll be a lot of eyes on him.
Yes, there will be, which is exciting. That's a good thing for us. It's a good thing for him.
This is our investment, man. This is supposed to be our next Miguel Almiron, right?
Yep.
We want him to do well, obviously for us, but then the long term so we can sell him for a profit.
Exactly.
So this is a big time for him to shine because the U20 World Cup is taken very seriously in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
As Jason Longshore told me on Soccer Down Here on Monday morning when I was on with them, this is where Maradona first had his coming out party. This is where Messi had his coming out party.
Right.
So this is a big deal. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. I got to say, though, and watching the match, I mean, I know Barco was a shining star among all of the players, but I have to say, and I know that you agree with me, but PT looked more along the lines of where he's trying to get to as far as form and fitness. Yes, very much.
And there was very into the game. He had a couple chances that another day, could have gone in. So
100%. And his combination play also looked sharper.
Statistically, he's still one of the best passers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's one of those things where you still see people debate like, oh, well, is PT still better on the left than the right? But you see Barco and PT move interchangeably so much. Does it really matter? I don't know. I mean, some people are saying that Barco looked even better when he's in the middle, and but at the same time, like when he's on the left, he's coming back and able to defend. I think defend more sometimes. And we saw that where he looked like Miguel Almiron a couple times, where he was coming back and defending, and then when we're a goal up, we're able to counterattack.
Yep.
And then he's pushing everybody forward, taking guys on, 1-2 defenders, right, and just trying to ghost them. And I
will say that's probably one of the things that we're gonna miss. That I might miss the most from Barco because, yes, Pitti tracked back. Joseph also tracked back. There was a lot of tracking back from our attacking players. But one of the things that I have always seen, especially from the end of last year with Barco, is his ability to defend and get back and defend so quickly. So I think that's something that we're going to see, obviously, in the match tomorrow on what stake that has going into a team that attacks.
What's the impact of him not being there?
Correct.
Will we see it not just offensively but also defensively?
Right, and then how does
because Tito's not that guy.
Tito is not that guy. So Tito is obviously going to be the sub in for Barco.
Yeah.
When obviously starting tomorrow.
Yeah, you'd expect Tito to play on the left.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what that combination will be because we haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen a game where Barco hasn't been on the field.
And PT's been off the field when Tito comes on. So the two of them on the field together is kind of new.
Right.
So I hope they've been practicing a lot with that combination in the training ground. We saw the improvement between PT and Gressel this match as well.
Right.
The game before, PT kind of barked at Gressel, and people were alluding to whether Gressel's goal celebration was looking back at PT, which I don't think it was.
It wasn't.
But either way, there was that chemistry seemed to be there this time.
Yeah, especially when you look at the cross that Gressel had in, and Pitti just took it right to the foot.
Yeah, one time it.
And it was so close and would have been beautiful. It would have been beautiful.
Oh, man.
And it was right. It was right. It was just slightly off target, and I mean, it just takes a little bit of finesse.
Has been the last few years.
Yeah.
We were just a hair off here and a hair off there.
And once you break that wall, it's going to come flooding in, and I think that's going to be really exciting to see.
It just feels like we can't get a leg up. Every time we're about to click into gear, there's either an injury or, in this case, Barco leaving.
Right.
And it's very frustrating because obviously he's hot right now, and we would like to see him there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how if Pity plays that central role and Tito plays on that left wing, if they're going to interchange just as much as Barco.
I would expect so. Tito likes to cut inside. He's right-footed naturally, so I think you're going to see that a lot. And PT's naturally left-footed, right?
I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
I'm nervous, but I'm still excited to see what it looks like among.
And will we see Pereira on the bench? Maybe someone like one.
Honestly,
like that.
yeah. No, I feel like this is where a moment where Dion Pereira could come in and start making some waves. Start getting. I mean, every time he's come on the pitch, I've liked what I've saw. It's just
we saw him briefly for like 5 or 10 minutes, but he's been exciting to watch for Atlanta United too. And so we'll see if he gets any minutes through this long run of matches where we need to stay injury free and guys need to stay fresh.
Exactly.
But that's also the difficult thing because we have a back line that even though we've had these clean sheets, ironically these guys haven't played together in the same formation very much, and that's part of the system. And and Frank de Boer actually said that the reason Parkhurst started, because there was some speculation saying, well, see what this says about Breck Shea, blah, blah, blah.
That Parkhurst is starting over Breck.
And some people were even dismissing Frank de Boer's response to this, saying that he's covering. I'm like, okay, whatever. But he said that because Johnny Russell with Kansas City cuts in from right to left, and that's sort of his main thing. He does it very often, that Parkhurst would be better at defending him 1v1 because he has that stronger right side.
Right.
And so he basically be cutting into Parker's stronger side. We saw Barco even get ghosted by Russell in that match. So, you don't want to see, and I think it's safe to say that Breck Shea is out of the two is not the best at 1v1 situations.
Correct.
And I think he does better when he's in the left wing position, which we saw him come on as a sub.
Right.
In that role, which I was fine with. I watched Matchday Center of MLS, and they gave De Boer a lot of grief, saying, like, you need to let PD play that extra 20 minutes and get him more time and blah, blah.
Well,
and it's like,
honestly,
is it really that big of a fucking deal? Like,
it's not.
He's still getting into the groove. He got his playing time. He got 70 some minutes. We want to save his legs for this long run of games, jackasses. Sorry.
Oh, my God.
Like, it's just like, why are you going to pick on that of all things? Like, they almost made it through the whole Matchday Center without, like, saying anything ridiculous. And then they're like, well, this is ridiculous that they did this. Really? You're that upset about a damn substitution?
There's always going to be, I swear, I always feel like there's going to be something for them to nitpick, no matter what. It's even when Matt Doyle is basically saying that Barco's had 1,500 minutes in MLS, and if Carlton would have had the same amount of minutes in MLS, he would have been doing better. And
Doyle's
it's like,
Josh Baker-Ranski's been going after Matt Doyle on everything this past week.
It's true, but like.
But it's so silly because out of all the things in that match to focus on, you're focused on this reasoning for the substitution. And I think that the coach knows why he's subbing somebody. Yeah. And I think it's to save his legs. Why you're already up 3-0, right? And let Barco run his legs out. He's going to the World Cup. We're not going to have him here. So let him continue to play.
So my thoughts
and get into a rhythm while he gets hot to go into the World Cup to U20s to help him out.
My thoughts is that we're going to see another sub probably around the 75th, 80th minute, maybe for Pizzi this game. But I think come Sunday, he's playing the full 90.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know how he's going to be handled. He should be close to, if not match fit at this point. And, this long run of games,
and we're going to see him.
He's going to be integral in that role. So
especially now that Tito is not coming off the bench, that Tito's starting.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see where Justin Meram slots into this, and maybe that does put Tito back on the bench.
Yeah.
But I still think that going into the stretch of things, when you've got Pity at really close to match form, you're going to have him play 90 minutes.
Yeah. Now, I know some folks have come out and said, Devin came out and said, slow your roll. This is, we won, but at the same time, this is a very depleted Kansas City side. We're supposed to win. And I think that's a fair point, but I also know I've been to the Cauldron.
Yeah.
People don't just go in there and get a clean sheet. It just doesn't happen very often. And in fact, I think it's only their fourth loss in like so many months or games or 28 or 30 some games at home. This is a very difficult place to play. They're not used
at home. Yeah.
Their fans are not used to losing. They stay loud, and we actually took them out of the match for a little while.
Yeah.
So I'm very impressed with that. I get it. Like, I think we could take a measured look at this and say, does this mean that like we're ready? We're gonna be, I think that we didn't have necessarily the best game either. Like,
no,
and I
think
De Boer even said we played better against FC Dallas, which is debatable. But I do think that There's a lot of room to grow. Parkhurst was shaky in the beginning to me, and although he was clutch in some plays, some key plays, he also had a giveaway, and we had some giveaways in midfield that led to their possession, that created chances.
We had a few uncharacteristic giveaways from Nagby also, which is weird.
Yeah. Oh, he looked exhausted almost.
He did. It was a weird game for Nagby.
He just passed it straight to the guy in the midfield,
Correct.
Which created a counterattack.
Correct. And that's also, we had some weird plays by Tito in the last 20 minutes of the game.
The only players that were really, to me, that were just on fire were Barco, Remedi.
Yes.
Was phenomenal. And I think a big reason for that clean sheet, even though he came off and Brett came on and all of that. But yeah, I think overall, this is, I'm just looking at it from a perspective of where we were, just beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And now, and it's a huge improvement.
Yeah.
We've seen incremental improvement over time. And I think that if we had gotten this 3-0 result and PT looked like trash, then I would be concerned. But PT looks like he's growing into the game. So there's incremental improvements. Is it as fast as we would like it to be? No. But grab the win, go into Toronto with this important win,
with
get
the
some
confidence.
momentum where we have a 7-match run in a month.
Correct.
This is very important. So I think this is great. I think it's really good.
I agree with you. And I think that one of the things that people should be looking at is, maybe Kansas' side was depleted, but we also have to realize we're not starting with our starting 11. We still have people that are slotting into
Parker's
positions.
playing left back.
Yeah. So as much as they want to harp on, it wasn't our best game, and we shouldn't, look at the sunshine and the rainbows of the 3 points. You still have to realize that we are also still suffering from injuries as well.
Yeah, I think it's okay to enjoy the win.
Yes,
and
absolutely,
but still be tempered and understand. I think most people understand that this is
realistic.
We're still not where we want to be.
Correct.
We still have room to grow, but it's a long season, and a lot of teams have a lot of room to grow as well when we're looking at the East especially right now and how trash it is. So we have 3 games in hand compared to most of the teams at the top of the table right now, Philadelphia.
That's such an interesting notion because it's like last year the East was the king.
I know. It just
and the
flip-flopped.
West is just
and now look at
dominating.
San Jose. San Jose was trash at the beginning of the season. New York City was trash at the beginning of the season. New York City's doing better. San Jose on the West Coast.
Yeah.
They're this whole man v man style of play.
Same with Houston.
Houston flying under the radar for some reason. Nobody's talking about Houston.
Why aren't
Ellis
they?
Looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Elise looks fantastic. So, anyways, it's going to be an interesting season.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's going to be much, unless LAFC continues the trend where they are just unstoppable and continues to sustain this ridiculous pace. I think it's going to, the rest of behind LAFC, it's going to be who the hell knows ends up in second, third, or fourth spot.
I think it was an interesting result that Chicago went out of LAFC.
Yeah, they've held them to a
0-0.
Yeah. But we know LAFC can happen to them.
That they have moments.
They defensively,
For sure.
But, at the same time, LAFC last year in those games were shipping goals like crazy at times against teams in their own house.
Exactly.
So that they've tightened up quite a bit in terms of that regard. So anyways, we're getting all over the place. Let's get into some Atlanta United news. And some general news first. The Atlanta United license plates, guys, are slated to be officially available on May 28th.
But...
Yeah.
They have no star.
People are very upset about
How
this.
dare you?
I'm like, it's not their badge, right? Like, but you have to understand the design was put in. Was it put in before? I think the design was put in before.
I think it was. Yeah.
Or was it after that? I don't know. Who knows?
No, it was before. It was definitely before. There's such a long process that it was done before. And besides, we're gonna get so many more stars that it's like you can't keep changing the design of the plate.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Also, some player interviews from Felipe Cardenas of The Athletic. P.T. Martinez said, quote unquote, I can be self-critical and say that my performances haven't been very good since arriving to MLS, but that's what I'm working on, and I feel that the last game versus SKC was very good. Great to hear. Humble, understands he has room to grow, but very confident he's going to push through it. So
I would agree.
That's the kind of stuff you want to hear.
I think what was very interesting, and this is, I guess, a thing that the the broadcasts are doing now, where when Pitty subbed off, they're focusing a lot on like him at the bench because
of course they're looking for that.
Yeah, they're looking for the
gem.
temperament. But I thought it was very interesting this game that he set, and then he came off at the same time Remetti came off.
Yeah,
so
they
him
sat
and
together,
Remetti sat together and sort of talked about it. And the minute Joseph came off, they sort of started laughing and then talking about tactics. You could see, but it looked like he was a little bit more calmer. He realized why he was being taken off. That sort of thing.
He probably felt that he did better than last time, and that must have felt
good.
And
I think that the issue is that like he didn't start getting into a groove with FC Dallas until the later
which
moments.
was taken off right as he was starting to get
and I think
into a
that
groove.
makes anybody frustrated.
That's also part of probably fueling it. Also, some injury news. Bello is out for 3 months.
Yes, that's got to get a surgery on that.
Whew, man. Feel for the guy. Mario was sending him tweets saying, hang in there, buddy. This is happening.
For a young
all
player,
things happen for a reason, blah, blah. So
for a young player, that's kind of frightening, but still, at the same time, I mean, he's got a great support system behind him, and he knows that the fans here will love to see him get back.
We were struggling at left back depth all this time. This is just very bad news from that perspective.
But there is a sunshine in the horizon.
There is, yeah.
Because Mikey Ambrose. You
always call him Mickey.
I always call him Mickey.
Hey, Mikey, you're so fun. You're so funny. Hey, Mickey.
Hey, Mickey.
All right.
But Mikey Ambrose is in training.
Right. So,
isn't that exciting? We need him back.
We do. We need him back.
He's a breath of fresh air. I swear. I want him back so bad.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to give you as much as Bello going forward, but he's very stout defensively.
Yes.
And I think it's somebody that we want to see back.
He's very stout. He's very intuitive, and he still is also the same with Brackett. Certain instances is very good at crossing. We
may not see him till the latter part of the month, if he's got to get match fit and stuff like that. But hopefully, he's coming in at that time when we had a 3 or 4 match run in a 2-week period, and we need some rest for our guys. And Parkhurst can't play every single minute of that.
I think what we should look for on that is whenever he starts coming into the 18.
Yeah.
And then once we notice when he's starting the 18, and then seeing when he has the ability to get subbed in and get minutes. So I don't know if he'll be on the 18 for this week, but
it's still maybe early. He just started back in training, I think, on Monday or so. So we'll see what happens. Also, Carlton has had an illness. People were wondering where he's been at. He's been sort of MIA. He wasn't on the roster for the Atlanta United 2 match. And a lot of talk going on from a lot of people that know a lot about U.S. men's national team and even people that interview and talk to Tab Ramos, who's a coach of U20s. And there are question marks whether Carlton will even get into the U20s. He has not been performing to people's expectations. I think that's why we saw people were wondering why Pereira came on and we didn't see Carlton. And Carlton was kind of looking out going, uh-oh, what's going on? It's that he was still warming up, right? So that's a bit of a concern. But that may also explain why Justin Meram of Columbus Crew is coming to Atlanta United. Yeah. So
transfer daily alert. By the time you've gotten this episode, though, you should already know.
Hopefully, yeah. Maybe you even watched the transfer daily.
Yeah, exactly. That Jay did earlier so well. But we have acquired Justin Meram from Columbus Crew, which is, in my opinion, I know that we differ on opinions of this slightly, but I'm actually excited about this.
Yeah, so Atlanta United has acquired midfielder Justin Meram from Columbus Crew in exchange for $100,000 in general allocation money, or GAM, and the club's natural second round. I don't know what natural means, but their second round selection, whatever. In
whatever feels
the 2020, in the 2020 MLS Super Draft, he's had 2 goals and 1 assist when he was with Orlando last season. Mm-hmm. Obviously, a lot happened there. People remember he stuck his fingers in his ears when he scored the goal.
Right.
He was getting a lot of criticism. He came out later, after I think he went back to Columbus, and said that fans even he shied away from saying death threats, but said that wished death upon him.
Yeah.
Whatever that means on social media or elsewhere. And so, he had a real rough time of it. He was sold or transferred to Orlando for a little over $1 million in allocation money and a 2019 first round or draft pick, international slot, 2019 international slot. He went back, to Columbus. Orlando lost a little over $250,000 in allocation money in that move because Columbus only paid $750K to get him back and got that 2019 international slot back. We got him for that $100K, so he's basically depreciated by 90% in the last year.
Yeah.
So we got him for about 9 or 10% of what his initial value
basically,
was.
it was a free.
And it's close to a free transfer as you're going to get in this transfer window. And so, yeah, I think that logically, if you're Atlanta United, if you're looking for someone that can play possession-based soccer, that can fill into that midfield or left wing, be able to cut inside, play that style, and you got Meram just being dangled out by Crew for $100K in allocation money in a draft.
You're a shark.
You have to take
that.
it.
Yeah.
You'd be crazy not to.
That's chum.
Even if he sits there and does nothing, and you just pay him his $500K salary or whatever he's making. I think he's around McCann money, okay, salary-wise. Mm-hmm. We know that was freed up when McCann left.
Right.
So that's back in the salary cap now.
Right.
But, it's a logical choice. It makes sense. You have to make that move.
Yeah.
Do I think he's going to excel? Am I excited about it? I'm not excited about it. I like Justin Meram. I like 2017 Justin Meram.
But see,
I don't like 0.3 key passes Justin Meram.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like zero goals, 0 assists.
I understand what you
this
mean.
Year,
I understand what you mean. This is
so it's logical.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with the move, but I'm not going to sit here and throw up fireworks either about it. It's like
I'm not throwing up fireworks.
Well, you said you were excited about it.
I'm excited about the idea of it. Yeah. I think anybody in Atlanta right now has the ability to be optimistic.
Like if we got a starter or something like that, like
he's not a starter,
right? Exactly, and I think that's the key difference here is that people, are coming at some. I saw some people coming at this as well, you're going to get Orlando. Justin Meram is the same as Columbus Crew. Justin Meram, he didn't change when he went back there. I think one person said in the comments, the best time, people love Justin Meram when he's signed and then when he goes away. And people are so harsh. But at the same time, he's a depth piece.
He is.
He's not a starter, right? Mm-hmm. We're not expecting this guy to go out there and play 90 minutes every match.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
And he could surprise us. So from a business perspective, super low risk, super potential upside.
Correct.
But at the same time, it's a little cringy thinking of him dressing up with Atlanta United against Orlando on Sunday.
I mean, it might end up happening. He might be subbed in for some minutes.
I think Payson on Twitter was like, "Yes, ultimate troll." I'm like, unless he completely flubs it, and then we're the ones getting trolled. So don't even start with this it's the ultimate troll. They send him up against Orlando. Only if he performs well, my friend.
If we win tomorrow and we get the 3 points, we're above Orlando in the standings, which I think would be fun.
Yeah.
Because I don't like being below Orlando right now. But in my opinion, with Justin Meram, he's somebody with veteran experience. He's been in this league for a very long time. He has performed very well before he went to Orlando. I understand that Orlando didn't go appropriately, and then once he's been back, it's been a different Columbus, honestly, because you have a different coach. It's a different way of and style of playing.
And also, we talked about this beforehand, right? As someone who's been through big job changes, moves, and I've had times where I left somewhere and then kind of came crawling back where it didn't work out.
Right, with your tail between your legs.
Right, and it affects you mentally, right? Like, even though you're like, oh, it's great to be back with family, you put on a brave face, you're back. It's not the same Columbus Crew, or it's not going to feel the same as when you were with Columbus Crew when you were native out of college, out of University of Michigan or wherever you came from. And then, you come back, that everybody's looking at you with like, that guy had to come back.
Yeah.
It didn't work. You couldn't cut it, right? Or
they'll always love him, but there is that
right, and it's the self-talk, right? Because it showed to me like he had issues moving down there. He obviously didn't adapt well, so maybe it's a psychological issue.
Right.
And so how the big question remains: is it a psychological issue where he's going to move here and have the same problems because he can't adjust, or because he's now not the main TAM guy, he's not the main starter anymore, because the pressure is not there anymore? And he's not.
And it was there with Orlando.
And he's gone from the Columbus, who have these fans expecting a lot from him because they brought him back.
Right.
And they're like, you need to step up. We brought you back. We saved you. Right now, do something. That's not there anymore.
It's the same. It was the same way with Orlando when they bought him.
Right. The expectations. He was a starter. He was one of their key players with
Absolutely. Meram's coming here knowing he's not a starter. He's knowing that he's coming here to fill a position.
And we talked about this with Breck Shea, where we see a better Breck Shea at times because that pressure's not there.
Correct.
And so, I think the jury's still out on Breck Shea. And
it is.
But Justin Meram is going to be very interesting to watch. I just think because if we do get 2017 Justin Meram, he could fight for a starting spot. That's the funny thing about it. Is like he could end up being
Justin Meram's that good where he could. Yes,
he could end up being like a coup where you paid $100,000 in GAM and a draft spot, and then he's killing it, putting up assists, goals, and then all of a sudden, like Columbus look like idiots, and you're just like sitting there with a big grin. If Darren Eales is kicking his heels up, going win-win, right? Because even if he doesn't perform, you could get rid of him, later. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
No, so that's the goal, and that's the desire. And I think that if I'm Justin Meram, I'm looking at this as a fresh start. I go into the city, and the championship city that is coming off of a title.
The facilities are gonna.
Yeah. The facilities are gonna be great. You've got a centralized stadium that's beautiful. You've got 70,000 fans packing out the stadium.
Who do you think he'll end up bunking with when he goes, if he travels like 2 away matches?
I haven't even thought about this. This makes me really excited.
Who do you think they're going to put him with? Right? Because when the guys come from Argentina, like Barco got with Miggy,
right?
And then who's
Barco is now
Breck
with,
said that he was with LGP or Mikey. I think he's with Mikey.
Barco
Breck
is
and Mikey
now with Barco and Joseph, I think, are roommates.
They're roommates.
And then Pity and Tito are together, I think.
Yeah.
This is interesting because I feel like Remedi and Nagby are bunkmates.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Do you think he's going to get put with one of the American guys, like Larry or Parker?
Parky or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see him
or maybe Gressel.
I mean, it'd be interesting.
Well, tell us what you think. Let us know.
I didn't even think about that. That's very.
Who do you think would be the best roommate for Justin Meram?
Have they announced his number yet?
No, I don't think. I don't know. I don't think so.
That'd be another thing that I'd be.
I don't know what he
is
now. I don't know what his number is now.
He was
Justin Meram?
8.
No idea.
I think he was 8.
No idea.
8 or 6.
So, guys, we put up a poll and asked, hey, Justin Meram at the time, we said is reportedly coming. We now know he is. It's been put out officially by Atlanta United. What do you think, basically? Where do you stand on this move? And 19% said they're excited.
Yes.
58%,
That's my 19%.
58% are in my camp, which is I'm fine. It's fine, or saying it's fine. 17% not enthused, and 6% face palms.
Oh, is that what you call that emoji? Is the face palm emoji?
You don't know that?
I know it's the face palm.
You're like the Instagram guru.
But I look at that as the oh shit emoji.
Yeah, that's
the oh shit emoji.
Yeah,
okay.
Not no bueno.
Oh shit emoji. That's what I look at that emoji as.
Yeah,
I mean, I know it's a face palm, but it in my mind, whenever I think of
son of a bitch,
what
that's
emoji
what
should I use?
It's a son of a bitch. Damn it!
Exactly.
The damn things are happening.
But what's the deal with some of these people bemoaning the loss of Garza here?
Yeah, it's pretty strange. So all of a sudden,
people are like, get Garza back.
This has sparked a conversation where people are like, "Wow, get a left back." I get it, right? But how many left backs are available right now? I'm guessing not many, since we didn't get one. And also, Bello's injury just happened.
Yeah.
So we may not have been scouting a left back.
No.
And then, Bello's more serious injury happened, and it's too late.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody on the radar. We couldn't get nobody's available
and
that we could use.
We've got Mikey in the process.
Right, he's coming back.
Yeah.
Right. And we saw that Parkhurst can play as left back in certain situations. But tactically, DeBoer's going to move things around. We're finding that he's going to play in a 4-back versus a 3-back depending on the opponent.
Yes.
Depending on the opponent. Mm-hmm. Whereas Tata, it was pretty much we play our style and everybody has to come after us.
Right.
Like everybody has to adapt to what we're doing.
Right.
And DeBoer is a little more tactical in some of his changes, and that's you can see it. He basically picked Parkey because of specifically Johnny Russell.
Right.
So that's as tactical as it gets, right?
Yeah.
So Garza, he's gone, and we talked a little bit about this when Devin and I talked with Felipe. We said, is the jury out on these transfers? Was it smart to move McCann, who is a $500,000 a year, sure, but he's also a utility piece, and we know DeBoer likes to move guys around, and he can work on that left wing, and a lot of people, when they saw Breck come in, they were like, why don't you just keep fucking McCann?
Right.
But that's not what people are talking about. They're talking about Garza.
Right.
And it's like, well, Garza was injured all the time.
Yeah.
And now he's only played like 90 minutes out of the entire season.
Correct.
Like once.
Correct.
And so, you could see, like now, I think
the risk assessment on that makes sense.
I think now you have to look back and you have to give Darren Eales and Carlos Bocanegra the +1 on that.
Correct.
To say probably a smart move. You have to go with your risk assessment, and they said he was more of a risk not playing. And some people said, well, I'd rather have him not playing
No.
It's like, what's the point? He wouldn't have played for us this season anyways.
Then
we
don't have a left back? No.
He still would have been injured. He still wouldn't have played for us, so he wouldn't have been helping us in any way. But I understand, people like Greg Garza. He's a great left back when he's healthy.
Yes, and he's a good person, and he is a good connection between English and Spanish speaking
But especially
players.
in a run of games like this, you're going to constantly be nervous. The guy's going to get injured. And,
Correct.
Where you have you need guys to be healthy and fit and playing together. So,
and we already have one injury-prone back. Escobar is taking Garza's spot in that regard. So
for me,
we don't need two of them.
If we were to evaluate, do a snapshot in time and say, right now, was it a good transfer, good decision, business decision, or bad business decision? Greg Garza, to me, it's a good decision.
I'm voting with you on that.
I mean, I would love to have him on the squad. If we had unlimited salary cap space, we could have more people on the roster.
If we were Barcelona or Liverpool or Manchester United or Manchester...
if we didn't have a salary cap, then bring him on. But I'm still out on McCann. The jury's still out for me on that decision because I don't know if Breck's necessarily giving us more than what McCann was giving us.
I think there's a little bit more...
And McCann was someone who was consistent, and I think he was a little better in 1v1 situations on that left side.
I will agree with McCann's consistency. That is something I cannot.
He grew to become kind of a staple. We just expected him to come out and
be
and put on a solid performance. He may not blow anybody away.
Right.
He may not lead to any assists.
But I think there's a way, and I think there is something to be said in the way that Breck plays that fits our system more adequately.
If he's played as a left wing,
yes,
he does have, and if he has the confidence, he can go up and 1v1 against guys in an attacking sense,
and I think
and be successful. We've seen it.
But here's the thing, though.
I don't fits and starts.
When we got him, I don't think we were planning on having him be a depth on left back.
I think he was a depth piece at left back. I don't think we expect him to play as much.
Correct.
And in fact, I think Parkhurst would have probably had to play and put on more minutes as a left back. And I think Joe Patrick even mentions on Twitter if we hadn't had Breck. And that would have put more wear and tear on Parkhurst.
Yeah.
So it's tricky. But I still think the jury is out on the McCann transfer. So if Meram comes through, if Breck comes through, if we see, where we get a lot out of these guys, then we may look back and say, McCann was a no-brainer. And at the time, we thought McCann was a no-brainer because we felt like if you looked at other people making his salary, Justin Meram at the time, still making that 500, 600K range, people felt, maybe he's a little overpaid. But now, I look back and say, maybe we should have hung on to the guy.
I'm not sure if I'm in your boat on that because I just don't see any game in which I've watched where I immediately, my mind goes, man, I wish we still had McCann. It's not where my mind goes.
No, I think looking at and saying
it's me being like, well, I wish Bello was healthy, or
I think there are times where I would have preferred to have McCann in a left back defensive position, and when there are one-on-one situations, then Breck.
Yes,
but going forward, I think Breck offers more. So it's difficult, right? And like you said, Breck, I don't think was a one-for-one for McCann necessarily. He was like, he can play left back if we need him to.
We weren't looking to replace McCann.
Right. So, and we saw him come on in more of that left wing role here in Kansas City, Brett.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
The jury's out for you. I think in the long run, I think it was fine because it opened a slot for somebody like Justin Meram that we needed.
I'm undecided
at the moment. Right now, we need.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. So, in league news, FC Cincinnati fire head coach Alan Koch after 11 games into the season.
Yes.
Some people were surprised, but I don't think a lot of people were shocked in the industry. Like you would look at MLS, thought leaders and journalists.
I looked at a little FC Cincinnati style,
FCC
Twitter accounts.
Twitters.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, okay. This is a little sudden.
We haven't paid much attention to them, though, outside of when we played them. So it's not like we're experts in FC Cincinnati or follow their USL shenanigans before they came on board. We know that Garza went there, right?
Yeah.
And we know that they were doing well
Kendall
at the beginning
Watson
of the season.
Went there,
right,
yeah.
Waston was there. But looking back, apparently, Alan Koch was the way the FC Cincinnati sort of tweeted out their press release.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying your typical thank you for your service and you're on your way and blah, 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 he coached with them for a few years, and in the USL and then coming to MLS. They went ahead and posted his record and gave like a 2-paragraph spiel about basically this is why we're firing him. Oh, and by the way, good luck. Which is very weird. And this is the same team where Koch screwed up, and Koch is the same manager who screwed up and came out and ended up basically blowing up Atlanta United by saying Garza in a press conference was coming to FC Cincinnati before it was officially announced, and that before Atlanta United could officially do a goodbye
to Garza
and all of that, and that really pissed off Darren Eales. So Koch was kind of a knucklehead to begin with.
Right.
I knew that from just that experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't follow what was going on very much. But apparently, a lot of fans feel that, he didn't perform like he should have towards the end of the USL season, that he threw away part of that season going into MLS, and they had a chance to win at home the championship and lost. I think it was to Louisville. So I think, overall, it seems like a lot of FC Cincinnati fans I was looking at are like, yeah, makes sense. But at the same time, why did you bring the guy into MLS?
Exactly.
If you knew this guy wasn't giving you what you wanted at the end of the USL season, why the hell, unless you're cheap and that's why you're having roster problems, and maybe the problem is the front office. So I don't know if a new coach is going to fix this.
Yeah, no, so there might be a couple issues. So I would agree that it possibly could be a front office issue, but it also could also be that the coach let the transition go to his head in a way where...
Well, they're saying he lost the locker room.
Yes.
Because he did come out, like Anthony Hudson, by the way, who Colorado also fired.
Yes.
Colorado Rapids fired.
Yes.
In a similar fashion, came out and threw his players under the bus, saying, I don't have enough players to win in this league.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. But beginning of the season, right, when they gave him coach for the MLS team, he's like, oh, I'm going to build this culture and blah, blah, blah. So he's obviously, you can't hang on to a guy like that. So I think that their hand was forced a little bit.
Yeah.
But I saw some SC Cincinnati fans saying that the general manager, the ownership, have done these things in the past where they kind of do the coach a little dirty when they push him out the door.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
So they're not exactly like, as much as they're like, okay, coach, that's fired, but the behavior by the front office isn't exactly anything that's exemplary either.
It's so interesting to see any...
Not what you want from your expansion year, right?
Definitely not. No, that's exactly what I was going to say. You're in your first year.
You're given more TV viewing for the big games this season.
Yes,
because you're the expansion team. That's how it always works, and you're blowing it on national television.
You're getting more press. You're getting more attention.
Yeah.
You're getting eyes on you because they have dedicated those eyes towards you as an expansion year. They want to see.
And now
what
you're
you
without
got.
a coach.
And now you're without a coach. And now you have an interim manager that's going to take hold. And then what do the games look like then? So you've got this enormous fan base that turns out for your matches, which is also better than most teams.
The second or third in attendance
that can have in MLS.
Seattle. Yeah.
And you're flubbing it over.
Yeah.
So now it'll be really interesting to see how quickly they get a manager, who they find, and who they go with.
I don't know what the guy's going to fix. I mean, the team, like Garza's their only starting left back, and he's broken.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's a team of defensive players.
Yeah, but maybe the coach can play, the Saif will play actually in the middle versus the left wing where he's supposed to play. Maybe the new coach will actually start playing players where they're supposed to play and playing a system that's something other than hiding in the defensive third and kicking long balls like old school 2005 Stoke City style. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Also, DC United's apparently in talks with Acosta for a contract around $2 to $3 million per year, up from his current $607,000 a year salary. And those talks included allegedly talks that if he either they would somehow free up a DP slot somewhere else to move in Assad, so Ziegler or something like that, or maybe it's if they feel that Acosta they can't come to an agreement with Acosta and he takes a waiver and leaves at the end of the year. I think on a free, then they may pick up Yamil and bring him on board again. So apparently they're in talks with Yamil Assad. Too late for this transfer window. But I know Kelly's very excited about the prospects of Yamil coming back to the MLS. Yeah.
Yamil Assad. Oh, I gotta say though, as much as I adore Yamil Assad,
I almost wore my Yamil shirt for you today.
I would have loved it,
but I moved and it's wrinkled.
It's okay.
And so I wore my Zeke boat shirt.
It's fine.
This is my Ezekiel Barco with a big ship, and then he's on the front of it doing this.
Yes,
it looks like one of the memes I did.
I gotta say, so I adore Yamil Assad. This has been stated, and everybody who knows me knows I love Yamil Assad. But the thing is, and people kept being being like, why are we not bringing Yamilus up, blah, blah, blah. Here's a couple reasons. One, we can't afford that. And then second, we don't have an international slot to bring him in.
Maybe after the CBA, we'll have more DP slots.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But the point...
now we do have an international slot. But anyways, Gallagher.
What?
Gallagher.
God, I wish I would have known that. I would have been on the
Gallagher freed up a...
I completely forgot about that. And you told me about this, and I didn't put two and two together. But
doesn't matter. We don't have enough DP slots. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. We don't really have a DP slot to put him in. He would cost way too much. I adore Yamilus, but at this point in time, he doesn't fit what we're looking for.
Why? He would be... If we had an extra DP slot, and we could put him on the left wing, and Tito was depth on the right or the left, and we had Assad, I mean, we would be a powerhouse. I mean, that would be great. But there's just... I mean, it just doesn't make sense within the salary cap and our structure, right?
Yes.
But
which is why I say it doesn't make sense what we need at the moment.
If we didn't have that, we didn't have the ceiling, we didn't have...
In a perfect world, we would also still have McCann, wouldn't we, Jay? Wouldn't we? Jesus.
I'm going to get so much heat.
We'd still have Miguel. We would still have McCann.
I'm going to get so much heat for saying that I think McCann should still be here. But I can't wait for my mentions to blow up.
Let's talk about how Ted Uncle ruins everything.
Oh, shall we? Yeah. How about that?
Let's go into this because we're already heated right now.
If you guys didn't see, Columbus Crew has been struggling, and but it doesn't help when you have a referee making decisions like Ted Uncle against DC United, right? Ted Uncle gets in the way of the play. Acosta has the ball. Will Trapp comes in to get it. They both run into Ted Uncle.
Right.
More so Acosta. Acosta falls over. Andrew Wiebe swears that if you zoom in, you can see Will Trapp's foot touching Acosta's foot, but that's ridiculous. I think it's not clear and obvious.
Yeah, that's.
Anyways, even if you do see it, it's not clear and obvious, and we'll get back to that. Why that's important.
Okay, go ahead.
Because Will Trapp took the ball. Took the opportunity from that. And by the way, that you treat the referee just like you do in a situation where they're treated as the field, so to speak. And there was a new rule in 2015 or 2016 that says something about that the referee can call a drop ball if there's direct interference or something, but it has to include a certain thing that didn't happen in this particular play. I don't know. But either way, that didn't happen. Columbus score. And then Ted Uncle gets the earpiece, and he's listening, talking, and looking at the video review for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's stupid amount of time.
Which to me is, if it was clear and obvious there was something that was happening, it would have been decided in the first minute or two.
Correct.
Reverses the goal and says the reason that they reversed the goal was because Will Trapp fouled Acosta. So basically he framed Will Trapp. If this was a film noir or a detective crime.
Yeah.
Filmed him.
It was dark at night, and Will Trapp leaned in.
Framed Will Trapp and then to cover his own ass.
Acosta.
To cover his own ass when he didn't have to because it's fair play.
It's fair play.
So just a complete cock-up. Nobody, except for Andrew Wiebe, or maybe Doyle, I can't remember, but nobody else on the Twitter you talk to, Paul Tenorio, The Athletic, anybody you talk to, anybody that's looked at this thing, even referees say that this is not good.
Clear and obvious. Yeah, it's not.
And it's not clear and obvious, that's for sure.
No, it's not at all.
So it's a subjective decision, which is what VAR is not meant to be used for in the first place.
Correct.
So how is VAR supposed to be helpful if the fucking referees that make the decisions are that incompetent? It doesn't matter.
You get better pro referees.
This is so stupid.
This is something that Jason.
And by the way, interesting fact: he's not refereeing any games this week. I don't know if he was originally slated to have a vacation or what, but interesting.
How very interesting. But no, this is just something that Jason Longshore talks about a couple times, if not more than just a couple times. But basically, it's this need and this desire for the pro referees to get better, to advance, to move forward, to get better at judgment on the field. And VAR should not be used as much as it I feel like it was used a lot more last year. I
understand a lot of learning curves. It was put in the middle of the year and all this stuff. But I mean, come on! This guy's an experienced referee.
Correct.
What?
This should
not happen. And he made some calls previously that got rescinded by pro in terms of a red card on Ladero or something like that in the Seattle game the week before. It got rescinded in appeal. So he's making a lot of mistakes right now.
He's what would they call that? He's going through what is that? A shit show?
Confidence crisis?
Yes, that's probably what it is. There's like, I can't think of the
why
term
else would
right
you do
now.
that if you're not confident in your decision making? If you're reversing or making weird decisions like that?
Somebody who's listening, just tweet me the term tomorrow on what it is when they're just going through like a really bad, like you're just fucking up everything. What that's called?
Clusterfuck?
I mean, he's just having a moment where it's just all clusterfucks.
Ted Uncle is a clusterfuck.
That is very true. That's very true.
I don't know what it is, but maybe someone will tell us. We're ninth in the table. Coming up is Toronto FC on Wednesday.
We're
so
fourth,
if
yeah.
you're listening to this when this comes out, that's tomorrow. Yeah, they are currently fourth in the table. They have the same number of games played as we do, 8. So that is a real 4, not Philadelphia, who's number 1, but has 11 games played.
Games played, right.
And just some news, if you are heading to that match, we learned that apparently Uber and Lyft drivers will be turning off their apps and going on strike Wednesday from noon until midnight, which encompasses the time period if you try to get a Lyft or Uber for the match or after the match. They want apparently hourly minimum pay and gas surcharges put in their fares, and that will impact you if you rely on those rideshare services.
If you are listening to this today, which will be Wednesday, game day
Tuesday.
against
Wednesday. I was
Today's
wrong.
Tuesday.
I said it was tomorrow.
Yeah,
well, it's tomorrow
silly.
for us now, but
for us now.
Yeah.
But when you're listening to this, it is today at noon. They will start cutting off their phones. Please take MARTA, take transit, get a ride.
Now they're not a union, so there will probably be some.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Still doing it. They're saying, forget this. I'm going to make some money off this situation, but it's going to be less probably than usual.
And so probably then also the surcharges will be higher.
Maybe, yeah.
So please be advised. Plan accordingly. Do your best. We love you. We'll see you at the match.
So Toronto in the very beginning of the season looked very hot. Jason's very high on Toronto right now, and there are a number of reasons why, and we'll get into that. But they are 5-1-2 in 8 matches played. But if we look, let's take a look at the teams they've beaten.
Let's take a look.
Right?
Because that's
important.
Their box.
That if we break into that 5 wins, like, what does that mean?
Okay.
Well, they've beat New England.
Okay, shocker there.
They beat Philadelphia, who's
on fire.
Right, but that was also earlier
in the season, which when they weren't.
Right.
Correct.
They beat NYCFC when they were trash early in the season.
Yeah.
They beat Minnesota, who's not good.
No.
And they just beat Orlando.
Okay, so Orlando's
who's been inconsistent.
Thank you very much. I was going to say on or off, but inconsistent is the better word.
Who's been better this season, you would say, probably holistically, but that's not speaking to much.
This season, they've been the best that they've been since they started.
It's still not good enough,
It's still
probably.
good enough, but...
they drew Chicago.
Which, I mean...
King of the draws, Chicago there.
Chicago really is, I mean...
And they've lost to Seattle and an on-fire Portland. Portland who's coming back out and deciding to win
so
some
at the
games.
beginning of the season, Portland was
not good.
Not good.
Like us, they were struggling.
Yes, and then they sort of caught a wave, which is what we're hoping that we've caught.
So they've lost to who you would expect.
Not herpes, but a wave.
They lost to who you'd expect them to, and they've beat who you would expect them to. Outside, you could say Philadelphia maybe is or an NYCFC maybe, but yeah, I mean it's not like this is something we should be. I think completely. I think early in the season, I was looking at Toronto going, I hope we don't have to face them, and we're still in this shape. I think looking at how we're playing, even losing Barco, it's going to be evenly matched game. And Josie Altidore is reportedly possibly coming back for this match.
Yeah, but he won't be full match fitness.
He won't be starting.
Correct.
He had a hamstring injury.
Right.
So there's no way.
No way.
It would be stupid of them to do that. And I'm actually surprised they're not protecting him more. And not putting him on. There's maybe some gamesmanship on their part. I don't know because, he's consistently had these types of injuries.
Yeah.
So you want to be very careful.
Also, congratulations to Josie Altidore. He just got engaged.
Oh, congratulations, Josie. Best of wishes. And
sorry, that was just
maybe go on a honeymoon on Wednesday.
He just got engaged.
Whatever.
Not married,
just
Jay.
skip the whole process. Move it along, all right? Because when we've played, Josie has typically been involved in those games, and we've drawn twice, and then we lost, of course, in that embarrassing match at the end of the season.
We don't talk about the match.
Against Toronto. So we have a lot to prove. This is a game where we really would love to beat them, I think, because this is a team that's been a pain in our ass
Oh, 100%. It's like it's
and it's always been
in the butt.
Like outside of that game, when we have faced each other before that, the 2-2 draws and all that, it was a great back and forth. It was fun game to watch.
But they have a real threat coming forward. They really do. And this particular player has been on fire.
Yeah.
And in that, so obviously we're talking about Alejandro Pozuelo.
Yes.
And
I like to call him Paz.
He's had 4 goals and 5 assists in his first month in MLS.
That was just in his first month.
Only in his first month.
And his expected assists, his XA as he were, for you stats nuts, because that's just not our thing usually.
Our XAs and XGs.
Yeah. Your expected assists per 96 minutes is, he's first in MLS with that.
But funny enough, Pity Martinez is second.
That's right. Pity Martinez is actually second with 0.57. I think it's actually up from that now, but these stats might be a week old. But you get the hint. This is a guy who can be a game changer.
Yes.
And I think his first 4 goals, they were not just goals, they were golazos.
No, they were incredibly
this guy
pretty.
Can change things on a dime. He's basically doing what Barco's been doing.
Yes.
Is just tearing apart defenses, coming at them directly. He's very tricky, and
do not give him space near the box because he will open his foot and he will take a shot.
Right.
And that's
there were big
something
question marks whether they would even bring in a DP after Giovinco left and all this stuff. And, man, this guy, he came in last minute. They just got him in the transfer window, and he has had no problem adapting in MLS. Okay, this is not a young guy. This guy has played in Belgium. He's played all over the place.
He just came in and started laughing maniacally.
Yeah, he's like, I even tweeted at one point. I was like, "This is, we're just living in Pozuelo's league right now."
We really are.
Him and Vela.
Crazy,
yeah,
right?
Crazy, yeah.
Thank
God they're
Vela.
not on the same team.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
No, I can't imagine.
Woo.
So, guys, we have that match up at 7 p.m.
Yes.
And after that, we face Orlando.
On Mother's Day.
Yes, which is fantastic. So
Happy Mother's Day, you moms.
Buy some flowers, take all the purple ones out, throw them in the trash, and give them to her. And
I hope your mother doesn't like purple.
Yeah, Happy Mother's Day. And then we have a thick run of games. We have 7 matches in a month's time, and we play Vancouver, and then a few days later the Red Bulls, and then Real Salt Lake, and then Minnesota, and then Chicago. So just boom, 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 boom. A lot of matches.
And then we have a huge ass break between Chicago and the next game, which would be Toronto. So Chicago we played on
almost 3 weeks.
Almost 3 weeks without a game.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? We got a whole month of just packed back to back.
So stupid.
The scheduling is just bizarre.
Stupid this year.
Bizarre.
And they got rid of our 2 legs. They still have these weird breaks.
Yes.
Like you got rid of the thing at the end of the year. Why are we doing it this way?
But also
anyways.
should be mentioned, all of the Atlanta United 2 matches coming up. They've been really smart with their branding. They recently just had May the 4th night, which was their Star Wars theme night, which was super fun, seeing a lot of people coming out to the Atlanta United 2 game with all of their costumes.
That was against Nashville, right?
That was against Nashville, yep. They didn't win the match, but it was still an enjoyable night with a lot of fun costumes and kids coming out and celebrating the love of Star Wars.
And if you want to learn more about it, just go check out our last episode, which was Queens of South, and Jillian went ahead, our guest host, went ahead and dug into all the different things. She's at Lane United 2 matches all the time, and all the different reasons why she thinks it's a great purchase, a ticket purchase. Use your free tickets that you have available, all that stuff. So,
but here are some of the matches coming up for Atlanta United 2. They've got Bethlehem Steel on the 12th. They've got Swoop Park Rangers on the 19th. They face Charleston Battery on the 25th. They face the New York Red Bull Reserves on the
and then we get into
7th
June.
of
so
June.
They have a normal schedule.
They have a normal, not back-to-back crazy 3-week after that. Time off schedule.
Also coming up in June, guys, is Soccer in the Streets, the Champions League. ATL Champions League will be in June, so stay tuned. We'll give you all the deets, of course. Jessica with Soccer in the Streets is on our podcast.
And we just got out of the Nations Cup for that.
We just wrapped that up.
Yeah.
Colombia did not win.
So upset. They
were so stacked.
We were 50. Well, okay. We didn't win the
I heard Felipe was like man of the match or something.
No. Did Felipe tell you he was man of the match?
I don't know. I'm just trying to see what your reaction is.
No, Felipe did it really well. He was a solid defender, and I knew whenever he was coming onto the field that I didn't have to worry about tracking back because he had it covered. But I weirdly I don't consider myself a striker, but when I play, I end up becoming more of like a striker winger.
I heard you got a header, but the goalkeeper was not even putting on his gloves yet.
Okay, look. Here's the thing.
That's a wide
I'm
open
not going to take away the beautiful just,
it's just like a win.
glory
A win's a
of
win.
that goal. It doesn't matter because it was a long ball that was hit from our defensive field. So it's from our third.
Yeah.
It was hit long ball to my head, and it was literally just to my head into the goal. So despite what people say, whether the goalie was paying attention or not, it was one of the most beautiful goals I've ever seen in my life, and it was scored by me. So
congratulations.
thank you.
Why didn't you guys win though?
Honestly, if we're gonna rub myself in it, like we started playing England, and the first 4 minutes of that game, I got knocked out.
Oh.
I literally had to walk off because I had a head injury.
Yeah.
And then I was stupid and got back on later in the field.
Follow concussion protocol, Kelly. Gosh, we talk about it all the time. Come on. All right. So we do have a review.
Yes.
We are.
Oh wait, is this the review that's?
Yeah, it's some criticism. This is good though.
Okay.
We need this. We need to humble ourselves sometimes, Kelly.
Yes.
Okay.
Humble. I haven't read it yet, so humble me.
We tend to get a big head sometimes with all the money we make from this amazing professional podcast, and sometimes we need to deflate it a little bit. So this is called Potential but Room for Improvement, and it's by
thank you so much.
HLS1L. And they said the hosts of this podcast are engaging and have good chemistry. I appreciate that this is not an Atlanta United apologist pod, but is critical of the club and its players when appropriate. However, especially when they have guests on, Jay and Devin need to stop battling over the mic. Felipe Cardenas is an excellent guest wherever he goes, and he tried his best to give tactical insight into De Boer's system.
Did you just say try his best?
And the club's failings thus far, but Jay and Devin constantly cut him off to give one-liners and knee-jerk criticisms. If the hosts would let each other ever let each other and their guests finish speaking, this would be a 5-star pod. Otherwise, it's hard to sit through the full hour. So, number one, it was an hour and a half, not an hour. Because I felt that we let Felipe get into a lot of cool details, but I do know that in the past, I have had the tendency to interrupt people. I thought I was focused and getting better at it. I haven't gone back and listened to it, right? So I'm going to say that there were probably times I did interrupt, and we want to respect our guests.
Yes, absolutely.
We want to have them back on. We don't want to feel that they're interrupted. So I want to thank you for this criticism because I'm going to be more conscious.
It's constructive.
But I challenge you to keep listening.
Yes.
And if you feel we improve, go back and give us that 5-star
review.
Give it a 5-star. Boom.
I just think that what's so interesting about you and Devin is that, and personality-wise, you guys aren't the same person. But the minute the mic comes on, you guys sound like brothers.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
So
people say we look kind of alike, too.
You do look
kind
of alike, yes. Yes. So it's just this very weird dynamic with you and Devin because it feels like two brothers just having a chat.
Well, maybe if I wasn't interrupting all the time, it would have been an hour podcast. Maybe that's what he's saying. Maybe that's after the hour, he's like, I can't listen to these guys.
Let us know your thoughts.
Yes. So please leave us a review. We are at 82 reviews now. Once we get up to 100, we'll do a giveaway.
You guys keep knocking that. Like, we will legitimately do a giveaway.
Yeah.
Like, why do you not want to put your it's free.
Write an actual review for us.
You just have to go on to iTunes. It's a free review.
As you see, you don't have to blow sunshine up our ass.
No.
Just give us what you like, what you don't like, whatever. We want to improve. We want to do better, right? So that being said, again, reach out to us and come find us if you want to go visit as a guest on that Friday, May 17th, for the Cooligans recording.
In Manhattan, New York.
Devin, Kelly, and I will be on the mic. Tanner will join you in the audience because he's a swell guy and there's only so many mics. But
we have a bunch of beautiful girls also who are going to be in the audience.
So you heard it first from Kelly.
I'm not going to. They are all very, very attractive women.
She's recruited attractive women.
I've recruited supermodels to sit in our audience.
There you go. So don't miss out on the supermodels in the audience. And then we'll have something to eat afterwards. It'll be a lot of fun. Okay?
Yes.
It'll be good times.
Come join us.
So come join us. Let us know. Like, subscribe, and share, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube. Share this episode if you're watching on Atlanta United Fan TV. And let us know what you think. Leave some comments below.
Yes. And then also check us out or listen to us, hear all of our opinions after match days on Soccer Down Here. We are always on Monday for the Unrelegated takeover. That starts at 10 a.m. But you can catch them starting live at 9 a.m. any day of the week on Soccer Down Here. You can find that on the app or online.
That's right. So check us out Mondays at 10, typically, if there's not travel that Jason Longshore is coming back from the night before. Otherwise, it might be in the evening on the Soccer Over there. Find us at Unreal ATL on all the social media. You can find me at JAY_Riddle on Twitter.
You can find me at the Kelly Francis on all the social medias.
And you can find Jessica at Jessica ATL UTD on Twitter. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching if you're watching on YouTube. And next week is Queens of the South.
Yes.
With Kelly and Jessica.
It'll be right before we go to New York. And right before the match against, who do we play? We play Vancouver.
Very dope.
Yeah.
Look forward to it, guys. So stay tuned. We have a lot of cool content. We'll come out with a lot of content after that Rebels game as well. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.